वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे कृष्ण। Hare Krishna. Today we will take a shloka from the 12th chapter of Bhagavad-gita. These series of shlokas in the 12th chapter describe what qualities a devotee should develop so that the devotee can become very dear to Krishna. So if we develop the qualities described in these shlokas, we will be showered with Krishna's grace and mercy more and more. So devotees try to cultivate these qualities. So this current shloka describes some very, very important qualities like satisfaction and others. We will recite this. Santushtah satatam yogi yatatma dridha nishchayah mayyarpita mano buddher yo mad bhaktah same priyah. Someone has to recite. Yes, Yashoda. Santushtah satatam yogi.
Santushta satatam yogi, santushta satatam yogi, santushta satatam yogi.
Okay, good. Next, Saumya Matudi, second line. Yatatma dridha nishchayah.
Yatatma dridha nishchayah. Yatatma dridha nishchayah. Yatatma dridha nishchayah.
Okay. Riyansh, fourth, third line. Mayyarpita mano buddher. Are you there, Riyansh? Okay, then Sri Lakshmi, third line.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, please. Third line.
Mayyarpita mano buddhir, mayyarpita mano buddhir, mayyarpita mano buddhir.
Okay. Ashta. Yo mad bhaktah same priyah.
Yo mad bhaktasi me priyaha.
Again.
Yo mad bhaktasi me priyaha. Yo me bhaktasi me priyaha.
Okay. Same priyah. Thank you. So let's recite two lines in one go. Krishiva. Santushtah satatam yogi yatatma dridha nishchayah.
Santushta satatam yogi yatasmana dridha nishchayah. Santushta satatam yogi yatasmana dridha nishchayah.
Okay.
Santushta satatam yogi yatasmana dridha nishchayah.
Okay. Sri Lakshmi. Mayyarpita mano buddher yo mad bhaktah same priyah.
Mayyapita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priyah. Mayyapita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priyah.
Thank you. Now full shloka. Kartik and Kamakshi. Santushtah satatam yogi.
Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridha nishchaya mayyarpita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priyah.
Very good. Hari Hari. Sri Ram, first unmute yourself.
Yes, Prabhuji. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridha nishchaya mayyarpita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priyah.
Excellent. Thank you. Next, Chinmay.
Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridha nishchaya mayyarpita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priyah. Hare Krishna,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. Reema Shetty, you want to recite? Santushtah satatam yogi.
Santushta satatam yogi
Yatatma dridha nishchayah.
yatatma dridha nishchayah
Mayyarpita mano buddher.
mayyarpita mano buddhir
Yo mad bhaktah same priyah.
yo mad bhakta same priyah.
Next, Divya Krishna. You can recite.
Yes, Prabhuji. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridha nishchayah mayyarpita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priyah.
Thank you. Next, Vrajigaur Prabhu. Santushtah satatam. Yes, Prabhu.
Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridha nichchayah mayyarpita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priyah.
Okay. Jagannath Priya Prabhu.
सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः.
Okay, thank you. Then one last recitation before we discuss the meaning. Prema Prabhu, Prema Mataji.
Santushta satatam yogi yadatma dridhanishchayah mayyarpita mano buddhi yo madbhakta same priyah. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you. Now let's see the meaning of the shloka. Santushtah satatam yogi. Santushta means to be satisfied. Satatam means always. Yogi means bhakti yogi. A devotee of Krishna is always satisfied. Santushtah satatam yogi. Second line. Yatatma means doing endeavor and also trying to control oneself while doing that endeavor. So, yatatma means a devotee is self-controlled. He doesn't give in to any temptations. So, that is the quality of a devotee. He is satisfied and self-controlled. Third, he is dridha nishchayaha. Nishchayaha means to have a determined conviction. Right? Dridha nishchayaha means to work with full determination. Right? Not wavering. So, dridha nishchayaha means very firm conviction on your goal and having great determination to pursue that goal of attaining Krishna Prema and rendering service to Krishna, right? Then third line, Mayi arpita mano buddhir. Mayi refers to Krishna because Krishna is speaking this shloka. Mayi refers to Krishna. Arpita means to dedicate, to offer. Fine, arpan means to offer. Mana means intelligence. Mana means mind. Buddhi means intelligence. Mayi arpita mano buddhir means a devotee dedicates one's mind and intelligence unto Krishna, completely offers one's mind and intelligence to Krishna. So these are the four qualities of a devotee. One, satisfaction, santushtaha. Second, self-control, yatatma. Third, dridhanishchayaha, determination. Fourth, mayyarpita mano buddhir, dedicating one's mind and intelligence to Krishna. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. Yo madbhaktaha same priyaha. Yo Madbhakta means such a devotee, me priyaha, very dear to me. So these are the qualities that make one dear to Krishna. And there are some shlokas before this shloka and after this shloka also. All of them describe various qualities that make one dear to Krishna. The meaning is clear? Shall we go into more explanation? So today we will focus more on the first quality, santushtaha, because each quality will take a lot of time for discussion. Self-control in itself is a big topic. Determination is a big topic. Dedication of mind and intelligence is another great topic. We have already discussed this multiple times. So today we'll focus on the first quality, santushtaha. Santushta means satisfaction. So Prabhupada says in this purport, a devotee is satisfied with whatever comes by the grace of the Lord. He does not endeavor much to achieve something with great difficulty, therefore he is always joyful. So yes, we need to endeavor, we need to work to attain things. Hard work is needed, determination is needed. However, if we are too much hankering for so many material facilities and name, fame, recognition, prestige, etc., whether they are subtle facilities or gross facilities. On a gross plane, on a physical plane, one may require more and more facilities like car, bungalow, house, comfortable residence. So that's one thing. But subtly also people may hanker more and more for recognition, fame, prestige, praise by others, appreciation by others. Yeah, to some degree, all these are needed. Some facilities are needed. Some appreciation from others is needed. That will encourage us. But one should not be so greedy or one should not be so hankering for all these things, right? So that is satisfaction. So right amount of endeavor with the right purpose in the right direction will give us satisfaction, right? So we need to endeavor, of course, but do the right amount of endeavor. Don't over endeavor. Even in the Upadeshamrita book also, Rupa Goswami says that utsaha nishchaya dhairya tat karma pravartana. So and also atyaharaha prayasascha prajalponya magraha. Like that, there are so many shlokas. So he says atyahara means to accumulate things more than necessary. We need few things. Okay, we need few things for our maintenance, for our livelihood. We need to acquire them. But ati ahara means overly endeavoring. You need some food to eat, right? Every day, 3 meals you may take. You need some food to eat, but you can't take more than what is required. That will become too much on the digestive system to handle, right? So you can't eat more than what is needed by the belly, right? Similarly, facilities also, as a human being, we need some facilities, but we shouldn't be hankering for more and more facilities, right? So right amount of endeavor in the right direction with the right intention leads to satisfaction of heart. So now if you eat just say 3 idlis, your belly may be full, right? But mind may not be full. I'll eat 6, but 6 may become it will become indigested food in your belly, right? So we need to understand the right amount of facility or food or endeavor that we need to take in or put in so that it becomes satisfaction of heart. Because anything beyond our requirements will lead to dissatisfaction and not satisfaction, right? We should never think that having more and more facilities will give me satisfaction. That will only give dissatisfaction. How? We will see. So endeavor is necessary, but in the right direction, as we have seen. And one more thing is, a person who is satisfied with whatever one acquires by honest means will have a satisfied heart. A person who has satisfied heart is free from undue attachments, undue envy, pride, and greed. So when there is satisfaction, there is no greed. When there is dissatisfaction, there is greed. Or when there is greed, there is dissatisfaction, right? Because you are not satisfied with what you accurately require, you are hankering for more and more. That is like greedily hankering for more and more. Even if you get more, you will not be satisfied. You will be dissatisfied because you need more, right? Somebody wants 10 rupees. He is not satisfied with that. Then with a dissatisfied heart, he will acquire 20 rupees. Then also he is dissatisfied. Then 30, 40, 50, billions. He is not satisfied. So dissatisfaction will continue if you don't cultivate that satisfaction, right? Even if you get more and more things, we will not be satisfied. Okay. So dissatisfaction will just multiply. Just like Vamanadev told Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj said, I'll give you whatever you want. Vamanadev said, I just want 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj said, why only 3 steps of land? You are a small boy, your steps are also very small. You ask for more. Then Vamanadev said that if I am not satisfied with 3 steps of land, I will not be satisfied even if you give me 3 worlds. Have you heard this saying that you take the sky as your paper and you take all the oceans as ink, and with that ink you try to fill the paper with your desires? Okay, still the oceans will be exhausted and the paper will be exhausted. Your desires will continue to exist. So generally conditioned souls have unlimited desires. So we should cultivate satisfaction and not have undue and unlimited and unreasonable desires, right? But if we can cultivate satisfaction, a satisfied heart is free from undue attachments, envy, and pride and greed. Fine. So it doesn't feel the need to accumulate more material goods or hanker for recognition, name, fame, prestige, praise by others, right? Glorification by others. So when there is satisfaction, you don't see for things from outside. You're satisfied from within, from internally. So further, another aspect of satisfaction is gratitude. A satisfied person is grateful for what one is and what one has by God's grace. So if you are dissatisfied, if you are always greedy for accumulating more and more, if you are not satisfied with what you have, you can't be grateful. See, if you are always looking for something which you don't have, then what happens is you cannot value what you already have. Fine. So already Krishna has given us so many things. Already by God's grace, we have so many things. We are something. Okay. With that, then we cannot be grateful for what we already have. So satisfaction and gratitude are like friends, right? So if you are grateful for what you have already received, you can be satisfied. If you are satisfied at heart, you can be grateful for what you have received. Right? If you are dissatisfied, you'll hanker for more, and you can't be grateful for what you already have. Fine. So now there is one devotee. He sat in a feast. Some 14 items are being served in that feast. Okay. He received 13 items, but one item he did not receive. Okay. He's not satisfied with these 13 items. I did not get that item. I did not get that item. He's just seeing the person who is serving, who is holding that bucket. Why he's not coming to me? Okay. So even if you have 99 things, if you don't have that 100th thing that you are hankering for, you will be dissatisfied. So we need to look at what we already have and be satisfied with it. If you need something more, you can endeavor for it in a reasonable way by putting some right amount of effort. But we should not be dissatisfied, and we should not value what we already have. Right? So now one should be satisfied with what one acquires by honest means. This is the instruction given by scriptures repeatedly. But this also implies that one should not encroach upon another's property or rights. Fine. So if you are really satisfied with what you have and what you acquire by honestly working for it, then you don't feel the urge to encroach upon someone else's property. Only a dissatisfied person, greedy person wants to take someone else's property. If I'm satisfied with what I have, then I don't feel like taking someone else's things. If I'm not satisfied with what I have, I encroach upon someone else's property. See, encroaching upon someone else's property is not just physical property. It is also their rights. For example, you know the story of Dhruva and Suniti, Suruchi. So Suruchi is a wife of Uttanapad, King Uttanapad. And Suniti is also wife of Uttanapad. Right? So Uttanapad's time and energy and love and affection should be available for both his wives, isn't it? Suruchi and Suniti. And his affection and his property should be available for both his sons, Uttama and Dhruva. You know this story, I hope. So Suniti's son is Dhruva and Suruchi's son is Uttama. So the king had two wives and two sons. So both two wives and two sons should have equal right for the affection and time and property and facilities of the king, isn't it? But Suruchi, out of her undue greed, she wanted everything for herself. She was encroaching upon the rights of Dhruva. So she says, you don't deserve your father's affection. You can't sit on father's throne. You can't sit on father's lap. So like having greed for property is one thing. Having greed for affection also. We can't be so possessive about people. For example, Suruchi says all Uttanapad's time is for myself. And all Uttanapad's affection is for my son only. Uttanapad should not show any affection towards Dhruva. She's not allowing that. The one thing is, Dhruva should not have kingdom. All kingdom should come to my son. That's like physical greed. Okay, greed for physical property. But all of Uttanapad's affection should be for my son only, not for Suniti's son. Means she's endeavoring, encroaching upon the rights of Dhruva also, of the rights of Suniti also. So these things, greed and dissatisfaction, are there on both subtle and gross platforms. So a satisfied person doesn't encroach upon others' properties and others' rights, right? Others' right to speak. Even his Upanishad also says that. Ishavashyamudam sarvam vyaktincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita. So whatever is allocated to you by God's grace, that you accept. Don't take someone else's rights. Don't take someone else's property, right? Like you are speaking. Someone wanted to speak, right? You should allow that person also to speak, right? Why should you encroach upon his right to speak, right? So one can have possessions, but one should not be so possessive about those possessions. One should share with others. So if scriptures are teaching us that you should share your property with others, scriptures are definitely against encroaching upon someone else's property. So ideal instruction, you should share what you have with others. Now we are accepting others share also. That's the opposite side. So we should not get into that kind of mentality.
We should share what we have with others, but we should not take their share. So further, now if we are satisfied with what we have only and what we are only, what about our ambitions? What about our desires? Can't we work hard for fulfilling our desires? Yes. See, satisfaction does not mean to be stagnant or unproductive or settle down with a meager performance and not grow to our full potential and purpose. The satisfaction does not mean to be stagnant. Okay, I'm satisfied with 50% marks in my exam. The student thinks like that. Today you got 50 out of 100. Okay, I'm satisfied with this performance. So we should be satisfied. We have heard in the class, we have read in scriptures, we should be satisfied with 50%. No, we should endeavor for, in the next exam, try for 70%. In the next exam, try for 90%. Right? And you can get 100% also. Not a problem. I know 2 shlokas of Gita. I'm satisfied. No, you can learn more shlokas also. Right? I did this much service to Krishna. I'm satisfied. No, you can do more service. So satisfaction does not mean to be stagnant. That does not mean that we kind of settle down to a meager performance and we don't endeavor to increase our performance, or we don't endeavor to do more service or help others or grow to our full potential, right? But that endeavor should not be done at the cost of harming oneself or harming others, right? That care we should take care. So satisfaction is not to be stagnant or unproductive. So one can have ambitions, but one's attempts to fulfill those ambitions shouldn't harm oneself or others internally or externally, means mentally or physically. Like Hiranyakashipu accumulated a lot of property, but he harmed so many devatas. Kamsa has accumulated the kingdom, but he harmed his own father, Ugrasena. So like that, there are people who may have ambitions and they endeavor to fulfill those ambitions, but while doing so, they also harm some people. And sometimes people harm themselves also. Out of passion to be productive, so people may work so hard, they may not harm others, but they may harm themselves. They may do night outs, okay? They may do late nights, too much of passion. So after passionately working to attain some goal, they will just collapse, right? Because they harm themselves. So we should have the right amount of endeavor in the right kind of direction. So we don't have to be passionate to be productive. One can be productive without being passionate in a negative way. Right? Sometimes passionate word is taken in a positive way also, but here we are taking the negative connotation of it. So one can be productive without being passionate. If we cultivate mode of goodness or sattva guna, passionate means to be in rajoguna. So we can, it's not that we need rajoguna only to be productive. We can cultivate sattva guna and still be productive. So we need to balance our positive desires or ambitions to accomplish with positive habits of like meditation, japa, studying scriptures. So all our endeavors must be guided by scriptural wisdom. Then our productivity is consistent. Otherwise, a passionate person will passionately work to get productivity and he will collapse after some time. He cannot be consistently working because you over endeavor, you torture your own body. So Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita also that what is determination in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. In the later chapters he speaks, 16, 17, 18, there he speaks all this, 14 also. So we can endeavor, we can have ambitions, we can have passions, okay, quote unquote, right kind of passion, but we should balance it with proper habits. Yuktahara vihara sevta cheshtasya karmas. Okay. The satisfaction is not to be stagnant. And now let's come to the bhakti context. In spiritual circles, there is satisfaction of heart, but there is no satiation in service. The satisfaction is there in the heart, but there is no satiation. Satiation means like you are bored with it, you are done with it. Enough. I have done enough service of Krishna. Entire lifetime service I have done in the last 10 days, I will not work anymore. There must be comes and become very busy and people may think that, okay, I have done sufficient seva, I will not do any more seva. Not like that, there is no satiation. So devotee actually is not satisfied. He is never satisfied with any amount of seva that he does to the Lord and the devotees. When the devotee performs the best of one's God-given ability, he engages all his manpower, resources, intelligence, and strength in Krishna's service, and is not satisfied by any amount of service. Life after life, let me serve Krishna. Life after life, let me read Bhagavad. Life after life, let me serve Guru and Vaishnavas. So to that degree, devotee has enthusiasm to serve Krishna. Right? He's satisfied only with Krishna service. Now you see, in Bhagavad-gita, there are some shlokas that describe satisfaction of heart. For example, Macchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantaha Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Charamanticha. Devotees derive great satisfaction by discussing about Krishna. Okay, they derive a lot of tripti, means satisfaction, while discussing about Krishna. That is one shloka. In Bhagavatam, there is another shloka that says that Ko nama trupyetra savit kathayam. Who can be satisfied by discussing about Krishna? No one can be satisfied. What does that mean? That means devotees are satisfied by discussing Krishna Katha, but whatever may be the amount of Krishna Katha that they discuss, they will not be satisfied. They want more and more. Okay? Say, if you are a South Indian trying to eat South Indian meals, somebody gets dosa. Okay? And there may be 10 other items in the menu. And this person says, dosa is sufficient. I'm satisfied with this one item. I don't want 10 other items. I don't want puri. I don't want what else? Dokla, this and that. I don't want all that. He will say, I'm satisfied with this one item. But this item you should serve me unlimited. Okay? Don't restrict only one dosa. 2, 3, 4, whatever I can eat, you should serve me. So similarly, devotees are satisfied by Krishna service. But they are not satisfied by certain quantity of service. They want more and more service. They want unlimited quantities of service. So this is real satisfaction. Okay. So really satisfied with the right quality of engagement. So that's why this popular shloka comes in Bhagavatam. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktira dhokshaji ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. The greatest duty of every human being is to serve Krishna. Paro dharma is yato bhaktira dhokshaji, to perform bhakti unto adhokshaja Krishna. And that bhakti has to be done in this way. Ahaituki, without any motivations, without any personal desires or selfish agendas. Second, apratihata, without any breaks, without any interruptions. Ahaituki apratihata. If your service is selfless and seamless, causeless and ceaseless, and if it is unmotivated and uninterrupted, then yayatma suprasidati, complete satisfaction is guaranteed. Prasidati means satisfaction of heart. So the satisfaction of a devotee's heart is dependent on the purity of the devotee's intentions in serving Krishna and the consistency of his attempts in serving Krishna. When there is purity of intent and consistency in attempt, when there is selfless motivation and there is constant regularity in our service, then we are completely satisfied. Sometimes even as practicing devotees, if we are not getting satisfied, we should go back and check our motivations. Am I serving Krishna with a pure motivation, or do I have any selfish desires? Because selfishness can never give satisfaction. Only selflessness gives satisfaction. Further, am I being consistent in my service, or am I taking breaks, undue breaks, unreasonable breaks? So consistency gives satisfaction. Inconsistency and irregularity will lead to dissatisfaction. So when there is consistency in our service and when there is purity in our intentions, then there is complete satisfaction. Suprasidati, yayatma suprasidati, complete satisfaction of heart is guaranteed. And Prahalad is a perfect example of that. So when Narasimhadev asked Prahalad, what desire you have? What boon you want? Then you know what Prahalad said? Prahalad said, my dear Lord, I'm not a businessman to exchange my service for some boons. I want to serve you selflessly. I don't want anything. So his bhakti is ahaituki, unmotivated. Secondly, apratihata. Although so many difficulties are coming on his way, Prahalad never stopped remembering Krishna and serving Krishna. It is apratihata. So Prahalad is best example of this selfless and seamless bhakti, unmotivated and uninterrupted bhakti. causeless and ceaseless bhakti. That's why he's always satisfied. Okay. So satisfaction depends on the purity of our intention and consistency of our attempts. So these are a few thoughts about satisfaction in bhakti. So thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions, comments? Sorry, any more recitations? Yes, Karthik Kamakshi, you want to recite the shloka again?
Yes,
You want me to show the screen? Let me just go back to that slide. Santushtah satatam yogi yatatma dridha nishchayah
मय्यर्पिता मनो बुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः समे प्रियः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी.
Thank you. Next, sorry. DS, Dr. Bharti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sandushta sadadam yogi yadatma trida nishayah mayarpida mano buddhe yomat bhakta same priyah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Riyansh. Okay. Next, Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Santushtah satatam yogi yatatma dhrita nishchayah mayyarpita mano buddhir yo mat bhaktah same priyah.
T.R. Krishnan Prabhu, you want to recite?
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Santushtah satatam yogi yatatma dhrita nishchayah mayyarpita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priyah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat. Seema Thakur Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Santushtah satatam yogi yatatam dhrita nishchayah mayarpita mano buddhi mad bhakta same priya.
Thank you. I keep unmuting devotees, you can recite. I may not call out names. First, Raseshwar Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma nishchaya mayarpita mano buddhi yo madbhakta same priya. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Next. Chinmay.
संतुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः समे प्रियः. Thank you.
Next. Next recitation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Santushtah satatam yogi yatatma dhrita nishchayah mayyarpita mano buddhir yo madbhaktah same priyah.
Next.
I will take both the shloka. Anitradam mitra ahimsa shanti rajava acharyo pasanam matram vigraha santushta satatam yogi yatad mandra nishchayah mayyarpitamano buddhiryo madbhakta same priyah.
Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhrida nishchayah mayarpitamano buddhir yo mad bhaktah same priyah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Next. Next, Mataji, Vasanta Venkateshwaran. Okay, we can't hear you. Next, Srinivas Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Santushtam satatam yogi yatatma dhrida nishchaya mayarpita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priyah. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Next, Yashoda.
Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhrita nishchaya mayyarpita mano buddhiryo madbhakta same priya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, please recite next. Banita.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Not able. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhrida nishchaya mayyarpita manor buddhir yo madbhakta same priya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridha nishchayah mayyarpita manor buddhi yamad bhakta same priyah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Next.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Santushta satatam yogi yadatma dhrida nishchaya mayarpita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same